36, 34, 36. Our resistance at 43, 51, 57, 64. Support below at 28, 20, 11, and 04. Pivot 36, support at 28, 20, 11, 04. Resistance on the upside at 43, 51, 57, and 64. Again, the market did its usual thing and broke late in the afternoon. It becomes very, very tough to trade that stuff late in the afternoon, as you can tell. Definitely no bounce in those moves when they get themselves excited and decide that they want to sell it off. But that's why we kind of try to stay away from the afternoon trade. More of a position yourself and hope you're right kind of situation. But it is what it is, and that's why we did all right in the morning. And hopefully we're not around in the afternoon to get caught in any of those kind of goofy moves that might occur. But you never know. But they'll occur during the day sometimes too. So the market's a little concerned, keeping an eye out, worried about the possibility of stimulus or lack of, and consequently it is that way. A little bit nervous. Good morning there, John F. You heard me on a podcast, Top Step. Yeah, nice guys out there at Top Step. I had a good talk with them when I was there, when we had that, we did our little skit that we did. Podcast. I guess you want to call it a podcast, but I guess that's what it is. It's tough for me to call it a podcast, but I guess that's what it is. Anyway, but yeah, so that's that. So we're slowly drifting down here. A little support down at the 28 area. If you were, looking to trade. All right, and it's just kind of hovering back down. Maybe some of you looked at that 60-32 area, snaps it up. It's a possibility. Dublin, welcome, sir. Always a pleasure to have somebody from the other side of the pond listening in, maybe trading. You've been trading at all? Are you interested in trading, or have you traded? We have them from all over. We're a well-diversified group here. I just want you to know that. As we quickly drift up here to the 43 area, again, we use, so we are trading mini S&Ps here. We are trying to find, we don't believe that markets go straight up or straight down. Consequently, we're trying to find these inflection points that the market will bounce off to give us a scalping opportunity. Basically, we're looking, depending on volatility, 2 to 3 points in our trades, and we're looking maybe for 3, 4, or 5 trades during the course of the day, depending on the volatility that might occur during any kind of sort of day. We traders are dependent on volatility. That's how we obviously try to make our money, and so consequently, we need the volatility. And so if the market decides to really get crazy, our stops increase with regard to our entry points, and that way it'll give us a chance to stay in the game, to be able to let our to handle any of the slippage that might occur around a certain area due to the volatility, and then consequently we might have to increase our stops. But for the time being, I think 2 to 3 points is a good level to keep your stop in and give us good opportunities here to try to make a little bit of money. Again, depending on the day, depending on how much movement we have, we're looking to 3, 4, 5 trades, and sometimes when the markets are really crazy, we can get 7, 8, 9 trades. All depends on what's happening in any particular day, and we again we are not privy to how busy we're going to get, and so consequently we have to take that into consideration when we are trading. We could obviously sometimes have to change our stops intraday because of some news comes out or something creates some volatility, but you can take your moment or the beginning of the day, depending on what's happening overnight, if there was any drastic news that came out, and then kind of figure out what your levels are going to be for any given day at the beginning, and then that could change. So again, the market is very susceptible to any news that comes out in regards to the stimulus bill or not, and it's just talking. So when the market broke yesterday afternoon, they came out and said, "Oh, Nancy and Munchin are talking for 45 minutes today, the longest they've ever spoken." Ooh. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Munchin appear to be making progress in their latest coronavirus stimulus talks. The pair continue to narrow their differences, in quotes, as the market rotates down, support down to 28. According to a spokesman for Pelosi, who hopes that by the end of the day, Tuesday, we will have a clarity as to whether we will be able to pass the bill before the election. And Nancy has said that she she wants to have a bill by today, end of today. That's our deadline. U.S. stock indexes are a little bit higher this morning, following the announcement after suffering a broad decline Monday's session. On the earnings front, today report will be from Procter & Gamble, Snap, and Netflix. Yeah, I mean, the overriding issue here again is any stimulus that might happen. I think they need that. The market does, and you have the Republicans who are not on board. By the way, they are having a little bit of concern there in regards to are they going to be able to pass a bill or not. A lot of Republicans all of a sudden are fiscally responsible. Could you imagine? When did that happen to the Republican Party? They became fiscally responsible all of a sudden. The fiscally responsible Republican Party has decided to become fiscally responsible now. Huh. A surprise. So I don't know what their deal is. It doesn't make any sense, especially because now we definitely need it. And they had no fiscal responsibility when it came to the tax cut when we didn't need one in the middle of a positive influence on the market. There was no reason at that moment in time. It created the next leg of the market going up higher, I think. That really didn't help them in the election because they still lost the House. So, take it for what it's worth. And now when they need one, they're pushing back. You figure it out. Moderna, not far behind Pfizer in the vaccine timeline, the U.S. could authorize emergency use of Moderna experimental COVID-19 experimental. They shouldn't put the experimental in there, but I guess it still is in December. authorize emergency use in December, according to CEO. If the company gets positive and interim results, I want to say internal, but it was interim, can spit it out in November from the large clinical trial. Comments suggest Moderna's timetable isn't that far from Pfizer's, which said last week it expects to seek U.S. authorization for emergency use of its vaccine by late November. The latest news comes as the two leading COVID vaccines from Johnson & Johnson and AstraZeneca have been paused as the company investigates illnesses amongst study subjects. Yeah, I mean, it's good that they have, they're going to need a couple companies to come out with some. Surprised they're not working together, right? I mean, well, nothing surprises me. I guess that's what they all do. But you would think that they would work together and get some knowledge or some help from each other in this situation. But they're all out there to see who can get it first. We're just hanging around our pivot here at 36. I'm not oblivious to the market. I see nothing's happening. It's a little choppy, right? 43 above is a little resistance. 28 below, no support. Okay, trying to uptick here a little bit. All right, we get our 43 area here. Very light on the order in the order book, right? Very, very thin, not too much there. And a nice little quick rotation there off of the 43 area. Again, our resistance levels, we would look for a short scaling into position is what we're trying to do. And if you should have got them now, if we got in at the low end, but should have been able to get them there. So nice little trade there if you did get in against a 43. Good way to start the morning here. And again, the ebbs and flows that we receive in the morning, at least the ebbs and flow for us the right way. You get that one-way trade in the late afternoon, it's good stuff. It gets really tough to trade that stuff in the late afternoon. But this was a nice little opportunity there against our first level of resistance up there at the 43 area. Again, yesterday also, I think one of the reasons that the market kind of trickled down late, it was also because of Powell, I think, was talking late in the afternoon about something and could have created some impetus, and then it's always a fallback to say that you're going to worry about the stimulus bill right now. So no reports coming out here at 9 o'clock. There are some Fed speaks at 9:50, at 12, 2, and then later on at 4 after the market closes. So there are a few people talking, just putting it out there. I don't know if they're going to say or do anything, could move the market, but at least maybe somebody will say something. So all right. Morning there, Tim. Were you with us in the morning, or did you get to 43? Yeah, I know. Stay under those coveys when it's cold out there. I can get it. 40 degrees outside. I didn't want to get out of bed either. I understand. It was cold this morning. Of course, me and my wife, she thinks it's beautiful weather, and I'm freezing. We always have a little problem with when we turn the heat on in the house, because she thinks it's great. Ugh, and I don't want to get off, I'm like, give me a break. It's gonna be 65. I go, well, it's not 65 now. Ugh, freezing. Did you get the levels? I'll repeat the levels again. Yeah, we had a little rotation there off of our 43 area right away. That was the first level we had. We just happened like a couple minutes ago. So our levels again. Pivot this morning is 36. Resistance above at 43, 51, 57, 64. Support at 28, 20, 11, and 04. All right, we're drifting back down here to bouncing off of that 43 area. So again, hopefully you were able to jump in. And how you jump in, you could scale in and, point above below, a half point above below, whatever your comfortable level is. Thank you, Cesar. Those of you coming a little late, there they are, the levels. All right, let's see. Shares of IBM slipped 3% after the bell on Monday as the company reported third quarter revenues fell 3% year to date to 17.5 billion. While the figure matched consensus estimates, it marked the third straight quarter of revenue decline for Big Blue. Investors are anxiously awaiting earnings from Netflix, which will report this afternoon. Will the ongoing coronavirus pandemic affect membership? How will the numbers compare to the weak subscriber guidance the company used in July? I don't know. All right, so now we're just kind of hovering up here. Next level on the upside, we have resistance at the 51 area. All right, we're just kind of hanging up here and just kind of floating back and forth. Okay, so things are kind of quiet this morning. It's kind of feeling itself out, trying to figure out what it wants to do, which way it's going to go, what we're going to do, how we're going to do it. Yeah, okay. I'm going to wait for her, synopsis of the game after it's over, and that way I'll get caught up. And anyway, Dodgers can be down 3-1, and they'll come back to win anyway, so I'm not worried about it. No, well, I hope so there, Don. It's taking its time, though. All right, so we've gotten a little bit kind of range boundy here. All right, slowly drifting back down here to our pivot. It's kind of a quiet morning, but it's okay. We had a nice little quick opportunity there against the uh, 43 area. If you are still short, or if you happen to stay short, this is where you want to get out. And if you guys are pivot players there, blue banders, got paid off here. Quick first rotation back to it. So nice trade there if you look for first rotation back to pivot, or even our blue band. A couple reasons there, maybe to dip your toe. All right, nice quick bounce off of the blue band there. Also our pivot. If you were looking to get long, obviously that's where you might have gotten long. Those bonds here break a little bit, maybe helping this little rally. Maybe that'll take us to our next level there at 51. but we're basically range bound here as much as I want to say something's going to happen. All right, just kind of a very quiet morning, but we at least were able to make a nice rotation there off our first low on the upside, and now we're just kind of hanging. Patience is very important. We have to be wait for the market kind of give us those opportunities. Trying to go out there and find them is kind of hard to do. You're going to trade this chop. You need to have reasons to trade. We try to give multiple reasons in our education course for you to enter into any kind of trade. I feel that's important is to have good reasons to to trade, to get in, to be able to find the opportunities to give you maximum the best chance to make money on the trades. And look, not all these opportunities are going to be good, so guessing here in the middle is kind of tough, I think, but that's my own personal thing. As we rotate back up here, the next level on the upside we have is resistance is the 51 area. If there are some new folks that are in here, please make sure you ask any questions that you might have and put it in the chat box area. A little bit of a buy there above the 44. I think you could have seen that pushing up here a little bit as the bond market continues to stay a little bit weak. So a little bit of a buy there above the 44. Maybe just a little push up here. Next low on the upside we have would be the 50 51 area. The market continues to gain a little bit of momentum here. Again, a little bit of a buy there above the 44. Market continues to uptick here. Coming up here to the 51 area. So we got a little bit of resistance up here. Anybody get them up there? You gotta be a little bit careful there because it did go up there right up to the 15 and a half and bounce off. Yeah, I didn't either, so I was wondering if anybody else did. That's too bad. That's really too bad. That was a easy transition. Anybody get in at 50? If you did that, you did all right. Again, it all depends on how you scale in. Of course, Don took the 50. Good job there, Don. Wow, nice rotation there, Don. What did you know? You didn't tell us. No, we were close. We were right there. I mean, we were right there. Again, if you got in at 50, you got filled. Obviously, we were having a look down at the, we some of you got in at half below the level. That's 50 and a half. Consequently, just ticked up there, but some of you did not get it. And that's kind of unfortunate. So now the level, obviously, if it comes a little bit more risky, if you didn't get them, because it didn't rotate very nicely off of that level. Maybe some of you got in at 50 and were able to take advantage of the level. I mean, we're not going to be perfect, but we obviously have to scale in into any sort of level. And that's what we're trying to do up here. All right, so nice little quick rotation there. You got your 45 there, Don, so nice little trade. Again, if you didn't get the 50.5 area, maybe again, it becomes very risky to level now, so you have a choice there. Right, so coming up here again, it's a little bit more risky now this time around, so be a little bit careful if you're going to take it. Or look for the 57 on the upside as the next level of resistance, or adjust to the upper end. Again, depending on how much risk you want to take, there's different ways of adjusting here. If they make a deal today, or if they come out with just positive news, it should rally the market a little. Yes, I would think. All right. I mean, that would be that would probably be a given. I cannot hear you when you speak now. We would have to turn your mic on for that to happen. Are you yelling at me like obscenities or something? Again, if you did take the level, if you got them this time around, and you did get paid off here. Again, it was a little bit risky, but maybe you did stick with it. Is there a reason I like to trade, watch the 30 years versus the 10s? I just think that 30 years give you a little better. Well, I'm biased. I traded a 30-year. I traded in a 30-year bid, so I just think that the 30-year bid is a good indicator of maybe some sort of inverse trade that might occur or not. So kind of helps us. I think the bond market, the 30-year bond market, at the end of the day, does give us some indication of where the market's going. Like it's a little weak here, and S&Ps here kind of rallying right into our levels that we were talking about. So I guess that's the bias that I have, only because I traded it, and I think it overall does do a better job of giving us a good indication of an interest rate when the market presents itself like that. All right, if you got in at the upper end of the range there of our 51, now you can pay it off on that. So hopefully you adjusted a little bit. It gave you a couple opportunities to use that level and trade it, so maybe that worked out okay. So John F., I hope that answers the question. Sometimes I just think 30 years move a little bit better than 10s, but again, I'm biased. Yeah, I agree with you, sir. It's good to go review and tell yourself, well, I shouldn't have traded when I did. That's my problem. Do you think it's a good rule to focus in on trade a lower number of markets? Absolutely. It's my belief that if you have too many things on your plate, you get lost in what's happening. It's also good to know some of the idiosyncrasies of one market, what affects the market, what fundamental news affects the market, when those fundamental news is going to be released that affect the market, what news out of Washington affects the market. I think, and you also need to find a market that trades well technically, since this is what we're given, trading on the screen. So yes, I would think that you would need to focus in on a couple markets that encompass all those ideals at the very most, and that way you can focus in on what you're trying to do. Now you can get those markets to interrelate to one another, or you can just trade another market that has no relationship with each other, like let's say the grain market in equities. But it's best to know the market that you're trading, what numbers affect it, what legislation affects it, so on and so forth. Yeah, but most importantly, the trades well technically. Yeah, but we focus on one. So what does that tell you? Well, come on, the worldwide indices, stock indices, equities, German DAX, the FTSE, and the Nikkei, and the Nasdaq, and so on. All of them look the same. Well, it is a worldwide. We're in a different. Um, I think over the last 10 to 15 years, markets have become more interdependent on each other because the world has become more of a. The world has become smaller, basically, right? And I think that's basically what's happening. Um, you're having a lot of inter market interrelationships with different players in the market. They're trading more aggressively overseas, and the world's a little smaller. I mean, technology has made the world smaller, and consequently, I think a lot of what happens in the United States or Europe or Japan or China is going to have a direct relationship to some profits with some companies in the same, in other countries. So I think technology has made the world a lot smaller than it has been, and I think it's going to continue to get that way. And somehow you have to learn how to deal with those ideas and concepts instead of trying to fight them. I mean, there's not too much that most companies don't know, or most countries don't know about each other anymore, with satellites and information flow and how you get information and hacking and all that stuff. And so, I think that it's everything's interrelated nowadays, much more differently than it was even 20, 30 years ago. We had, so I think that's could be one reason why all the other markets around the world kind of mimic or trade off of one another. All right, that 51 area there, some good resistance. It did drift up to 53-ish. But if you did you adjusted a little bit to the upper end of the range there, you got filled and you got a nice little rotation off of it. And continues to downtick here. Gonna have support right around the 39 area. Well, they've down to the 45 area there. It's going to go through that. You're right there, Don. I would agree on you on that one. On what end there? You didn't adjust the upper end there? HD? Oh, I thought you would have adjusted a little. For sure, you would have adjusted it. Oh, well, it's okay. Don't let that bother you. Support down at the 38, 39 area. Again, just keep your stop, and if you're going to take any of the price action plays that the market might give us.
Hey, a couple quick programming notes. Carl S., welcome. Hey, Carl, I'm going to send out an opportunity to sign up for Sol's monthly at a discount. I just sent it out to everybody, actually. That's for John F. also. Michael C. It should be in the chat feature for you. Welcome aboard. I'll be in the background if anybody needs me.
Right, market continues to downtick here. Let's support down to 38, 39 area if you're so inclined or whatever you are doing. You take some profits there if you happen to stay short, and or if you're trying to get a price action opportunity, that would be it. We did dip down right down to our blue band there. We thought maybe we'd get it there at 39 or got down at 975. Came back up here, so it did hold pretty well that support area. So again, if you're looking at 38, 39, got down to 975, a little bit more risky if it goes rotates back down there now. Just FYI. Again, we can't be perfect, right? Try to be, but we said 38, 39, got down to 39.75, pop back up. But you know, it is what it is. Look for the next opportunity someplace. Obviously, it becomes a little bit more risky, and you have to trade it accordingly. Yeah, well, it kind of did. It got down to 39.75. We're not perfect here, there down. I thought it would get down to 39 also, but Good morning there, Sam P. How are you? The levels for today, sure. Let's see. Our pivot this morning is 34.36. Support at 28. You know what? They're right there in the chat. Thanks there, Sardar. Our first two levels got triggered there on the upside. Had a little good opportunities there, and then just kind of float back up here to this little support there at the 39 area and 40 area, and pop back up. So now we've come up here into this choppy area up here against the upper end of this range here. Okay, that's better. Nice little quick rotation for you. I was wondering why you bought them at 44. Didn't make any sense. One tick for the broker. That's right. So that's all you did. Make the broker rich there. You know how much I hate that. I'll tell you that much. We're just kind of chopping around here. Again, the support there would be, well, we had that support there at the 40 area. I had 39.30, but I wouldn't do that anymore. I think we get below, um, 38. I think we might rotate down a little bit. Brad will give you that number. Now we're getting a little bit choppy here, going nowhere fast, and it's very important to be able to be patient and wait for the opportunities. Like I said, we had a couple opportunities on our upper end of resistance up here. We also had a couple price action opportunities. We also had a little momentum play there above the 44 level earlier. So there were a few opportunities there, and also a rotation first rotation back to our pivot after the 43 got triggered. So a couple good opportunities there for us. Again, the levels are one thing, but then there's price action opportunities, and those are a taught experience. We look for those opportunities as the market paints some bars, and that's what we kind of teach here. The objective of the course is for you to be able to find these opportunities on your own, the levels on your own, and to be able to trade independently of Me. Uh, I don't. I just try to focus in on what we do and the methodology that we teach to give us good opportunities. And like most of our opportunities are focused more on morning hours. First couple hours a day gives us good ebbs and flows, so we kind of focus in on that. Late afternoon trade gets a little bit more one-sided. If you've been watching the trade on Friday and the trade yesterday afternoon was always one-sided. A little different way to trade that than scalping, obviously. But most of our opportunities are based on the morning hours as we try to find those ebbs and flows on those inflection points that gives us those opportunities. But as far as watching anything else, I kind of just focus in on the markets and what it's telling us instead of trying to get an indication from other markets to follow or not to follow. Um, no, there's really not much there. It's been the volume at each level has been kind of light-ish, 100-ish. So, but it's been trading pretty good. There's some good volume today, but I haven't seen any one particular big orders coming in. It's just range bound right now. All right, coming back down here, a little support down around the 40 area, but again, if we get below, I mean, I'd have a tight stop, like I said, below 38. You don't want a 37, 38 area. You don't want to be below. Yeah, the pivot there is 36. So anywhere around that area, you don't want to be long. Can you become a multi-millionaire scalping? Look, it all depends on how much size you want to trade. I mean, honestly, I mean that's how much money you make in this business. Very invariably depends on the size that you trade. If you want to make a living and you don't want to take too much risk, and you're good at it, you could definitely, depending on the size again, the size is what's going to make you trade or make more money or not. But as I was, starting out, and you're making a little bit, you're trading smaller and smaller, but then as as you become a little bit more proficient at what you're doing, you increase your size, and consequently, you're going to make a little bit more money. So, uh, I mean, there is there's a correlation between size and but I mean, it also, scalping also allows you to minimize your losses. That's all. So, I mean, that's more than anything else is what we're trying to do is minimize your losses. But in regards to you making money, yeah, there's many different ways of getting there. But again, how much size you trade is going to be, important. But you can start out with a small account. I mean, look, when I first started, we were just trading 1 lots and 2 lots, and slowly work my way up. So you go to 5 lots, and then you go to 10 lots, and eventually you're trading, 50s and hundreds. But it took a little bit of time. It doesn't happen overnight, that's for sure. I mean, and a lot of it is confidence, and I can always tell you that you're always going to get chopped down. The market always does that to you. Every time you think you got it figured out, that always chops you at the knees and says, no, no, you can't. Every time I went from trading 1s and 2s to 5 lots, then I traded to 10. Every time I went to a higher level, they always chopped me off. It made me feel like I have no idea what I'm doing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Money management is important, and money management is what I'm talking about when I say you got to minimize your loss, and that's what happens with scalping. You're not letting things run. You're controlling your losses. Always important to control, your losses to be able to make sure that you can make money. You don't want to have losses. You don't want to have one day where you lose so much it takes you 4 days to bring it back. So as long as you minimize your losses and you have just a normal losing day, that means you can make your money back the next day. Then it's fine. You get to the point where your losses take you 3 days to make your money back. That's where you become. That's the problem. It doesn't matter if you're trading 1s or 10s or 20s, right? What it matters is that you uh, make sure that you follow the methodology and take your loss. Always important. You're going to have your winning trades. I mean, they're going to come. Obviously, because you can trade multiple contracts. If you trade a lot of contracts, you can also manage them differently and scale out of them differently, and keep a few to run on you if you get in at a good price. So there's different ways of managing your contracts if you trade multiple contracts. The Gina is good. It has good features, and it gives us. I use it mostly for our charts, so I have no problem with it. They're haven't had an issue with them. They're nice company, good people there. So, all right, we bounced off of our green band there. Well, the the issue with increasing your size or trading multiple contracts or whatever you want to say is a couple. I've always felt that when you increase your size, let's say from 1 to 2, you're going up 100% in risk, right? But you're you're going 100% in risk monetarily, but in risk psychologically, it's like 1,000%. Because all of a sudden your numbers are getting bigger. So consequently, if you go from 5 to 10, yeah, you're monetarily increasing your risk by 50%, but you don't deal with the money the same way. I mean, it's like I said, it's like 1,000% increase in risk. It's like somebody was telling me, when I was trading at the beginning, and I was trading, and I said, well, I trade 5s and 10s, and I made so much money, and he goes, oh, well, why don't you trade 10s and 20s and double your amount that you make? And I'm like, well, it doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way, because the entry points are, and then once you have to trade on it, it definitely becomes a different mindset. You trade differently. You psychologically are a little bit more itchy. You're maybe taking your profits too soon. Maybe not taking your losses quickly enough because it's a big loss and you don't want that to happen. But all those things are there, and you have to really try hard and say to yourself that you're going to stick to the program so that you can maximize the profits. But the problem is that you're saying your numbers, your PNS is going to change quickly, good and bad, but you're focused more on the bad than you're focused on the good. And that becomes the problem. With a 1 lot or a 2 lot, you can watch it go 2 or 3 points against you. With a 10 lot, you again, not only do you have to have it's 10 times more, but your account has to be 10 times more so that you can handle the swings. That's another issue. So you need to be able to have a bigger account and to be able to handle the swings. And the swings are the hard part to handle. And if you can handle the swings, then obviously the opportunities will be there. But to your original question, yeah, you can make, you can do whatever you have, whatever money that you're looking for. Because let's say you get into a nice trade and you're trading multiple contracts, and all of a sudden you get in, and how many times you get in and the market goes your way, and you get out and it continues to go your way, or you take your profits. Multiple contracts allows you to get out and keep something on, and that last opportunity, the last 3, 4 lot or 2 lot or whatever it is that you have on there is going to make you a lot of money, because you're just going to have a trailing stop with it. But again, you need to have your account to be able to handle the swings, and you need mental fortitude to be able to handle the swings. And that's the difference, I think, with most traders, is how you handle swings. it's not easy. The psychological impact of trading is tough. With ones and twos or fives, you get the tens and 20s, and you watch the numbers, kind of flicker around as we were hitting those stops here really quick. Like I said, you didn't want to buy them there anymore. It became a lot more risky, and you hit the stops there right underneath it, and that was kind of a little obvious there. But hopefully, you weren't buying them down there at that time. Looking for the 28 now as our next support level. So I hope that answers your question there, Sir. We are quickly, they must have said something about somebody or something, because all of a sudden it's opening up the floodgates here a little bit. Support down at the 28 area. Could you gotten short there? Well, I think if you got short below, I did say below 37, 38, you didn't want to be long. Could maybe get you in, but that's just where it pushed out very quickly. So again, those areas where you don't want to be long anymore could be a reason to get short. And as in the bond market, also having a little rotation up here to the upside, helping this little push down. Again, 37, 38 area was the place you could have gotten short if you were looking to get short. As we quickly rotate down here, again, looking at the 28 level. Is that nice? Really? 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 We're really going to do that? Wow. Okay. 875 popped in. All right, we'll see you at noon for our class there. There's something going on here in the background. Maureen, as the market now comes down to the 28 area, get us filled, but very, something's up. So be careful. Just keep your stop in. I don't know what's up. I know something's up. Somebody said something or wasn't too happy. All right, so at least we're getting a little bit of a push. Maybe you made a little bit of an adjustment to the downside after we missed it by a tick. Whatever, already kept getting a nice little quick rotation here off of that. Again, you got to take some profits here. You might not get your 2 points, but because of what's happening right now at this moment, you got to take with the market. You got to read the market and take a little bit less. So almost got up to 30, got up to 975 there. If you get on the lower end, you take your profits against the 9.5 and just kind of let the market do its thing here. Like, we don't know what's happening, but bonds are confirming this little push to the downside. It is working at 28, as you can see. Sometimes you just got to make a little adjustment to your to the trade, only because you can see what's going on, and we don't know what's happening in the background. Something's up. But we're getting it. It's trying to hold for us. Yeah, I mean, I knew that they were talking. He was one of the Fed talks that I said. I don't think that that's the reason that they would that this would be happening. I think it's bigger than that at this moment in time. But anyway, again, scalp the market, take what the market's giving you. Don't hold on for 2 points when it's not giving you 2 points at this point right now for whatever reason. Right? So They give us 2 points over our lower entry point. If you gotta peel some off and then just let it be and then see what happens next. I mean, it is holding here because they are bouncing back and forth against it. And if you have any left over, you're getting paid off here at 30. So nice look. They took it out at 30 there. So nice little quick bounce there. Had to work it just a little bit. If you want to have a stop, keep your stop at 26 if you want to try to stay long here. The next level below that is the 11. But it did give us a quick 2 points. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to find these inflection points that gives us the opportunity to make some money. Uh, 34.20, yes. This is, next level, yeah, it's 20. I'm sorry. 34.20. Did I say 11? I did say 11. But the next level is the 20 area. But again, if you are long there against that, then you have a stop would be at 26 right now. See, because of the way it did flip back and forth there, it gives a little bit of back and forth buying there. So at least gave me a little strength to be able to stay. The sell-off kind of contained itself just a little bit. Gave you a reason maybe to stay long there, and that's why I said you put your stop in at 26. Let's see if we can get this a little bit higher. 34 area. Well, 34 would be a good spot if we can sneak up there. All right, trying to keep you a little long there if you're trying to stay long against that. That's old news. That was there yesterday. Again, some of these people are coming up with some crazy numbers. I said, and I've said this, that there's not going to be anything done with anything as far as taxes or nothing, whoever wins, for at least a couple of years until this the follow through of the pandemic gets past us. So that is going to, no matter if Trump wins or Biden wins, they can't do anything as far as taxes are concerned for at least a couple of years. I mean, that's at least a couple of years, and I think I think it's going to take that long for this, at least that long for this pandemic uh, overflow to get it figured out and to get past this point here of craziness that we're living in. But yeah, so I don't think, again, I don't think anything is going to be done for the next couple of years. And look, the reality of it is this: is that unfortunately, because of this situation, yeah, they're going to have to raise taxes. I mean, the fact that you had a tax cut, that Trump gave a tax cut when the economy was going good, didn't make any sense then, and now for sure doesn't make any sense now, as we're into this like craziness. And so at some point you're going to have to, you know, you got to pay for what's going on here. You can't leave it for our kids and grandkids. That'll be a disaster. So somebody's got to take care of this. Can't keep throwing the kicking it. I mean, look, the Republican Party, you know, when they approved this tax cut, it didn't make any sense to me. I mean, I didn't understand where they were coming from because they were fiscally responsible, I thought. And I was like that. I liked it. I appreciated that. And then all of a sudden, they decided that's not what they want. And they get this tax cut when everything was going good. And now, when you actually should have a tax cut, instead of giving the money away like they are, you can't do it because the taxes are at these levels that are already low. So I don't know. They got themselves into a little bit of a hole that they have to open up the purse strings until they take care of this pandemic situation. What do you mean, the 26 there, HD? Well, once in a while. All right, we've come up here to our pivot here around 36. If you were able to stay long there from the 28 area, there's a nice little rotation up here. Once we held there, you know, again, you could see the way the market was trading down there. It stopped its run, and there were some orders coming in on both sides, but the run stopped. The run meaning the push to the downside. Yeah, 28, that worked very nicely there. Got right up there to our pivot. All right, came up back up here to our pivot. So a good place to be kind of neutral again. And a nice rotation there. If you did buy them there at 28, this is where you definitely want to get out of anything. We get above the 38 there, we might push it up a little bit higher. But nice little rotation there off of the 28 level. All right, again, we're going to rotation to our pivot there. First rotation back to it, and then a nice little retreat. No, I don't know when they're having their meeting. Him and Pelosi, new buddies. All right, nice rotation there off of that 28. Whatever was said or done, they were just joking. Coming back up here to this middle of the range of the day. Let's see, 50, 40 upside and 28 here, 27. So about 13 gets us right up to about the 40 area. That's where we're at, is the middle of the range here. So very, very quiet. Pelosi and Munchin going to speak at 2 o'clock today. That's 2 o'clock Chicago time. Lunchtime for you. Yeah, you and Sophie's nap time.